All right, just finished a ride, so forgive me, but I just had to get this out there. I've been struggling a little, as you know, with my old cancer scare, worried about cancer coming back, and brought back some memories, and that went away, and I'm still got to worry about blood pressure and some other things, but I'm OCD, so then I've missed days riding, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of crap, but the biggest thing that I've failed at recently, and I got to be honest with you, is I'm a very, I'll say, withdrawn person. Don't have a lot of trust in people. They generally let you down. I was just listening to Rare Earth. I Want to Celebrate. Had my faith in the people, and the people let me down. So, it's just, that's what I grew up with. And it's, having had cancer and people kind of turn their back, don't call, don't, check in on you. And, that's why I quit going to church and some other things, but that's my personal life. But it's just to kind of explain the background. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. But my struggle has been that, I put myself out there, and please, I'm not pinpointing any one person, any group. It's the people around me, physically, local. We say friends in this world, and 3,000 followers later, I don't know any of you really, but it's the locals. I'll say that. I was looking for a word. And I live in the South, in America, in the South, and so I'm born and raised in the South, and I've lived up north, and I've been to 48 of the 50 states, and so I've traveled, been to overseas, things like that, done things. Let's just go there. And so I'm in a melting pot right here. We've got Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. It's people from all over. California. They come here from Europe to live. Puerto Rico. I can, just in my own neighborhood. I live in a community of 82 homes, and remember, I'm half Italian. So anyway, it's an inside joke. The issue I have is that I made these flyers, and I go out and I hand them out to people. And I've always been a guy that I hold the door open for you, not so you say thank you, just because I know it's the right thing to do. That's the way I was raised. And if you say thank you, that's just a bonus. Don't do it if you don't want to. That's my thing. And so, but my struggle's been, I'm a egotistical male, human, because I don't think it's just men that are egotistical. And so it's, we got to be equal. And so the reality of life is that I go out and I hand these flyers out, and the sad part is every person that I give it to says to me, oh my gosh, my spouse passed from breast cancer or pancreatic cancer, or my friend, there's a lady that walks in the neighborhood, and she says my friend has stage 4 bone cancer, and it's saddening. I had a friend that their child died of leukemia. It goes on and on and on and on and on, and not one donation. And that pisses me off. That hurts, because I can raise the money without them, but it hurts me because I put myself out there, and I don't go to their parties. I'm not a social guy, so what should I expect? But the part that made me angry is not so much the lack of donation, that quickly it becomes a stumbling block, and I slip back in and withdraw and say F people. That's why I hate people. I actually took I only like 3 people in my bike off of there. I'm about to put it back on there. It's a very frustrating thing. And I'm not even localizing it to this. There's people I grew up with. There's just people. And I don't think people see it as a sense of urgency. Oh, he's riding all year. I've got all year to do it. What if I get hit by a truck, And then are you going to still, oh, well, he's dead now. We don't have to donate. I don't know. That's just the mind that I have. And it frustrates me. And then it's this, I read it to Mark today from my book, my favorite book, it's called The Feedback Loop from Hell, because then I'm mad because I'm mad, and I'm mad at myself for being mad at them. It's not their responsibility, but it's just, I see it as a failure in mankind that we point fingers. We blame everybody around us but ourselves. Oh, that's a shame, but what the hell are you doing to fix it? That's what I ask people. What the hell are you doing to fix it? And I'm not trying to shame you, but I am in a way. Not so much to donate to my charity, but what about the little old lady that lives down the block from you that her husband died? Do you ever go by and see her? Simple shit. It's simple stuff. It's and here in the South they wave at you and they don't even have to know you. And so I'm accustomed to that. When I moved up, my business was based out of D.C. and I worked New York, Delaware, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, 7 states. And and people are blinders on, head down, get the hell out of my way. And so when I moved back home to the South, it was different for me. It was good to be home, but because we have such a melting pot, I'm probably the only Southern guy in a 10-mile radius here, and that's okay. I got some good neighbors, but it's just hard for me because there's a disconnect. People, we have a disconnect, and we smile. Smiling faces sometimes lie. That's from that song, and it's just everybody wants to be good, I think, genuinely, but they don't know how. They've lost that ability. They just don't know how. They say, oh, I really should call such and such. I've heard they're not doing so good, and they put it off because there's always tomorrow. Let me promise you something. There isn't always tomorrow. If you can promise me that there's a tomorrow, you could be a gazillionaire, because I can promise you this. I don't care if you are that gazillionaire or you're the hobo on the street. You got 24 hours in a day, and that is it. You can't buy it from somebody else. It ain't carbon points that somebody we all know can buy from other people and still shit out energy. It's the reality is that we don't always know that we have tomorrow. And I think I'm self-aware of that because of the things that I've been through, and it really slapped me in the face here the other day when, I had to go get a pet and a cat, and you know how many of those I've had? I've lost count. I should be a superhero with all the damn Mumra and PET scans, CAT scans, radioactive crap they put in my body, and hell, Peter Parker gets bit by one damn spider and he's Spider-Man. It doesn't even make sense, but it's comic books, I guess. But, it's the reality is that I don't care if it's your 1,000th one, it scares the shit out of you. And I get that. And that's why I try to reach out to people and help, because I know. And I'm such a weird guy that I believe it's a blessing that I just had this scare, because it brought it back to my mind. It reminded me why the hell I'm writing, why I'm doing what I do. And it isn't because I want people's donations. I'll get money out somehow. I'm gonna, Sonia had asked me to do that, to post it. I'm going to, just because it's not to brag or to be prideful in any way. I'm only the okayest, and I don't ever forget that. I'm not the best, the greatest, the fastest, the damn anything. I'm just the okayest, and that's all I strive to be. I just want to be okay, mentally, physically, and that's a struggle. It's a struggle. I don't care who you think you are. It's a struggle. And so, that being said, I'm going to post, obviously not with this video, but it'll be a separate post, and I'll show you what one moron can do on a bicycle. One guy, and I can say that because I'm that guy, but one person, I don't care who you are, one person can do on a bicycle. I'm going to show you the charity apps that I have and just in the time I've been writing, 2.5 years, that's it. Be 3 years, June 11th. Not that I track that kind of stuff, but anyway, be 3 years. And so in that span of time, I can show you what a little bicycle, and my yellow princesses. In case you don't know, those are Mavics, and that's what they call them, yellow princesses. It's in the rules. You'd have to read the book. One day I'll start and read it to you guys. But it's inside thing. But it's just that, one guy that broke his knee in 9 places, broke a hip, had lung, double pneumonia in my lungs with blood clots, stage 4 lymphoma, didn't even finish my chemo, the list goes on. I've been there, done it, I didn't always ride bicycles. They used to have motors. And run with some unsavory sorts. And, I'm not that guy anymore. And it's fun. It was fun. I'm not going to lie about that. But this is actually more fulfilling and more fun than anything I've ever done. Somehow it's the thing I have on my wall. I ride. I have to look at it, so sorry. Well, maybe I'll show you. I ride because somehow completely exhausting myself is the most relaxing part of my day. So, and that's the truth. I don't even know if you could see that, but let's just cross our fingers. No edits. That's the reality. I ride to help others. I ride to help myself mentally and physically. Mentally, probably more than physically, because obviously it's not working. I just had to go for PET scans, but my heart rate's still up. I went from a 48 resting heart rate to like 60 to 65. I don't know why, but I ride. It isn't going to hurt me to ride. I know that my rides now are harder on me, but I'll figure it out. The 24th, I go to a doctor and she's going to examine me and probably take 27 more vials of blood and who knows what else, but we'll get to the bottom of it. But until then, I ride. And that's just my mantra. If I stop moving, if I stop doing it, I'm like a shark. I'll die. It's what makes me tick. And it's, maybe I'm being unfair to people because I'm the weirdo and everybody else is. And so maybe that's the key. Maybe there is a screw loose in my head and I won't tighten it because I don't mind it, as long as it doesn't rattle, but because that would drive me nuts. But the reality is, I'm proud to have a screw loose if that's what it takes. And I'm challenging you to look deep at yourself and say, how can I help at least one person? You don't have to help 1 million people, 1,000 people, 100 people. Is there somebody, I'm sure, in your apartment building, in your neighborhood, somebody that don't have to be a cancer, diabetes, heart, it's just a somebody. Everybody needs somebody. I'm just that weird guy that, I call him Sitcom, my next door neighbor. I look like you can see where I'm looking, but he grew up in Long Island, and he's a nut. He's a typical. The reason I call him Sitcom is he reminds me of like King of Queens or something. He's an older guy, 72 maybe. Yeah, you got to realize something. I'm 54 in a neighborhood of older people, and I joke about my age, but they got me beat. I'm as old as their kids, and so that's one trouble, one hurdle. But I pick on them. I remind them this is an elephant graveyard. We all came here to die, or live out our years, and be happy. And so just do it. But I freaked him out the other day because I was driving back from the bus stop with the kids, and he had texted me to make sure I was doing all right. He was the only one, of all, my wife, of course, but I'm saying outside my family that was like, how's it going? Have you been to the doctor? What did the scan say? He was on it, man, on it. And I thought, gosh, we're so different, age, upbringing, everything. But he's not. He's just like me in that respect. He cared. And so I actually pulled over, got out. He was talking to another guy. And I told him everything came out clear. And he went to reach out to shake my hand, and I knocked it away and I hugged him. It was highly unusual, and for me even anyway. But he hugged me back in it, and I could tell that it meant something to him. It was one of those things that when I did it, he just lit up. And so that's what I'm saying. Go outside yourself every once in a while and just, doesn't have to be a family member. It could be, it's even better when it's, I don't say just go pick a stranger and hug them. They'll probably put you in jail. But, you understand what I'm saying. Don't take it too literal. But it's just look at what, and I don't mean this in an asshole way. I'm sorry I talk like that, but I was a construction worker for 30 years. I mean it in a sincere way. What have you done for mankind lately? It's, if you own a product, just out of random, you remember there was a craze going on where people would go to McDonald's and say, let me pay for that car behind me. And you know what? That's not a bad thing, other than you're killing them with McDonald's food. But maybe it was your enemy after all. But the reality is do it. It's little dumb things. It's just smiling at somebody. That's all it takes sometimes. It doesn't have to be miraculous. You don't understand what a smile, a handshake, a hug, just a how are you doing today. Think about when you're down. What does that do for you? If we're all so damn equal, if we're all so alike, that stuff you want and desire, they do too. It doesn't matter who they are. We're people. People. And that's the hard part, because I'm going to be really honest. Everybody that watches it, you can only imagine the people that actually know me, seeing me make these videos. They don't know what the hell happened to me. They're like, what in the world where did he come from? I was angry, man. I was living up in DC area. I hated people. I'm not gonna lie. My customers I liked, because that was kind of my family. Most of my customers were returned. They called, and I was referred, and it was a tight community. But just the traffic, and like I tell you, 9.1 miles away took me an hour one way just to go get my chemo, go see my doctor and things, and that's crappy. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that, I didn't disappear on you guys. I just been going through some stuff, spending some time with my family, working it out with Mark. He's a great friend. Don't you ever forget that. And, that's what's important, so anyway, just, think it through. That's all I got. All right. Peace, love. Take it easy.